brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. I was just talking about Ken Coleman's front row seat a minute ago. One of the guests recently was Sahil Bloom, and Sahil has a brand new New York Times best-selling book out, The 5 Types of Wealth. And we asked him to stop by while he was hanging out with the Ramsey team here and be a part of our show today here live on the air. Welcome, Sahil.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations on all your success, man.
Well done.
Things blowing up.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's fun to see the impact in the world, you know.
Yeah. Writing a book's a pain in the butt, but the results of it and how long it sticks around, it makes it worth doing.
Yeah, something permanent about a book versus anything else that you do, social media, writing, etc. It just does feel different.
Something very analog in a digital world, for sure. Very cool stuff. All right, 5 types of wealth. I got to hear, what are they?
So the 5 types of wealth that I talk about in the book: time wealth, all about freedom; social wealth, it's about your relationships; mental wealth is about purpose and growth; physical wealth is about your health; and then financial wealth is about money, what we all know and love.
Okay. And I'm going to guess and say you figured out that if those aren't all working, that none of them work.
Yeah, the whole idea...
As well, anyway.
Exactly. The whole idea is that our default scoreboard, the way we have traditionally measured our lives, has been incomplete. And that has been entirely based around money. And that is part of building a wealthy, a fulfilling life, but it's not the only part. And for a lot of people, the chase and the obsessive quest to do the one thing comes at the expense of everything else. You get the Pyrrhic victory. You win the battle, but you lose the much bigger picture war. And so focusing on a more comprehensive scoreboard, a way to measure your life across all of these areas, that's how you go and build the comprehensively wealthy life that we all really want.
You know, that's we often get a question about work-life balance in the middle of getting out of debt. You know, you're going scorched to earth while you're getting out of debt, following our process. And as if there's no way to have high-quality relationships or even a social life while you work hard. There's some people have this idea that's on a spectrum, and there's an automatic trade-off. If I get a bigger piece of that, there's a smaller piece of that. It's not always that way, is it?
Hey, George here with a quick interruption. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, would your family know where to find your life insurance policy, your will, even your Netflix password? Well, Knockbox solves that. It's a kit that organizes your financial accounts, estate plans, and everything your family would need all in one place. That way they don't have to hack into your laptop or locate some long-lost thumb drive. So leave them a legacy, not a scavenger hunt with Knockbox. Ramsey fans get the best discount available at knockbox.com/Ramsey. That's knockbox.com/Ramsey.
If I get a bigger piece of that, there's a smaller piece of that. It's not always that way, is it?
No, I totally agree with you. The whole idea of even saying work-life balance fundamentally places the two things in tension, and that tension is made up. The reality is that the two can actually be part of a harmony, right? I mean, your family is on the mission with you that you are on when it comes to your work, and they should feel that way because it's part of building a life together that you're on that journey.
Your wife did the cover of the book.
My wife did the cover of the book, exactly right. We're all on this mission together. I do think that the mindset of on-off switches in life is one of the most dangerous mindsets we all have. We say, oh, I'm going to be focusing on making money, so too bad, health, too bad, family, friends, all those things get shut off. The reality is that you can just have them on dimmer switches. Just because you're prioritizing making money and getting out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle doesn't mean you shut off these other areas. Anything above zero compounds in all of these areas of life just as much as it does with your financial future.
You know, we were talking about this when you were on front row seat, but I want to bring this up because I think there's clear data now. We can look at CEOs. We see a correlation between healthy people and actually financially wealthy as well. It's pretty interesting how that correlates. And I think a lot of people overlook their physical health, right? Because they go, hey, I'm doing well here. What have you seen on that, and how do you correlate those in the book?
Over and over again, we find that physical wealth, your health and vitality, is a catalyst for every single other area of your life.
Yep.
When you take care of yourself, fundamentally what you're doing is taking back agency over your life. You believe that you have the ability to take an action, do something for your physical health, and create a desired outcome. That belief that you have instilled in yourself through the physical pursuits applies to everything else that you do. You now believe that you can take an action at work and create a desired outcome, that you can take an action financially, create a desired outcome, that you can do that in your relationships. All of that is about reassuming agency.
Yeah. I can reassume the hero in the story's role. I can take control of this. I can control the controllables. The number of times we've over the 35 years doing this that someone says, "Oh, while I was getting out of debt, my marriage vastly improved and I lost 40 pounds. Not from not eating, but from physically taking care of myself." And so it turns out discipline begets discipline is one saying that fits right with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you become a different person by taking these actions. So as a result, you are doing one thing, but it has those ripple effects into every other area of your life.
You know, we were talking earlier, Sahil, I want you to share this because we agree on this. This book has really taken off. It's hit a nerve. And the title itself is somewhat provocative without trying to be, The 5 Types of Wealth. But in America today, we're beginning to see kind of a negative groundswell that's anti-successful people. Why do you think that's happening?
I think that for a lot of people out there, success has become something that they don't feel they have access to. And that is fundamentally giving up your agency, right? You are saying that other people have the opportunity to do things and create success, but I do not. And so I'm going to bemoan that success because I don't feel I have access to that. If you change one thing about your life, you create that one tiny piece of momentum, reassume that agency, you will no longer believe that. You will recognize that you have the capacity to take an action and change your life.
I would add to that as a couple, particularly a young couple, we see them, once they lock arms and fix their eyes on the same goal, and then they go slay that dragon together, they start to realize we as a couple can take agency over all these different areas of our life. And it just builds confidence. The empowerment gives you confidence to go forward. Time, social, mental, physical, financial, the 5 types of wealth. Sahil Bloom is our guest. This is now a 7 weeks on the New York Times bestseller. It's a legitimate, very good book, and strongly recommend you pick up A Transformative Guide to Design Your Dream Life. Talk about designing your dream life.
It is all about taking deliberate daily actions to actually go and build the life that you want. The tiny action that you do today is going to be the thing that creates the momentum for tomorrow. The problem is that when you stare at this big wall, you're trying to go create this enormous change in your life, it's too intimidating. You look at it and you say, like, I can't possibly get to the other side of this thing. You don't have to do that. It's just about creating a little bit of awareness and then taking a tiny bit of action. Because again, that tiny action is what creates the momentum for you to get a little bit better tomorrow, a little bit better the day after that.
When you're staring at the blank screen, I'm going to write a book. Do you have that same feeling?
Absolutely.
I better put a word down here fast so that another word comes, because otherwise I'm going to be 2 days staring at this blank screen.
Absolutely. And again, anything above 0 compounds. The 10 words that you write today, the 10 minutes. But successful, ambitious people are the worst about allowing optimal to get in the way of beneficial. They say, I don't have an hour to work out today, so I'm just not going to work out. I don't have 2 hours to write, so I'm just not going to write. I don't have an hour to call my mom, so I'm not going to call her. The reality is that a 5-minute call is better than nothing. A 10-minute walk is better than nothing. 5 minutes of writing is better than nothing in all areas of your life.
Yeah. So make the call, do the walk. A walk, could lead to a run. You never know. So good stuff. Very good stuff. Very fun. And so they can also hear you on your podcast?
No podcast right now, but maybe one to come soon.
Okay, very cool.
Robust newsletter, yes?
Newsletter several times a week, and you can get the book anywhere books are sold.
And I want to point out,
how do we get the newsletter?
Newsletter is at sahilbloom.com.
SAHIL Bloom.com.
Yep.
Very, very good.
That's where that book came from, by the way. I want to brag on him. I had been following you for years because of that newsletter, and even on X, you would put out these little nuggets, and he lives what he believes on that. That's how this book came about. You tested this content for a long time, and now you're seeing the results of it.
So I wrote a book with an absolutely horrible title that didn't do very well. It's called More Than Enough. So answer that question. What does it mean to have enough?
I love the whole idea of enough, because fundamentally enough is where you build your best life.
Cool.
The chase for more is a plague. More is the most dangerous word.
The minimalist would love you.
Yes, they would. They would.
I love it. The 5 types of wealth. Sahil Bloom. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
So proud of your success. Very well done. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.